Hello, thanks for joining us. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguele. You can follow this news live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all the social media handles displayed on the screen. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed the conviction that his administration has significantly attained its repositioning plan for the Nigerian police and expressed the hope that subsequent national leadership of the country will sustain the initiative. This, he emphasized, is critical towards deepening the democratic credentials as well as advancing the course of rule of law. The president was speaking at the official launch of critical operational assets procured by the Nigerian Police Force. Let's get details now from State House correspondent Adam Sambo.
The newly procured operational assets inaugurated by the president include armored personnel and troops carriers, water cannons, patrol vehicles, crowd control, rapid deployment barriers, GPMG and AK-47 upgraded rifles, drones, and explosive ordnance disposal equipment. The procurement of the assets, some of whose utilization is demonstrated here, is in furtherance of the broad plans by the Nigeria Police towards guaranteeing a stable internal security order as well as peaceful, secure, and credible 2023 elections.
The overriding goal is to modernize, reform, and restore the dwindling primacy of our police within the internal security architecture of the country. And I am delighted that the force leadership is advancing my vision to bequeath to the nation a democratic culture in which the police will not only be apolitical and impartial during the 2023 general election, but in which the process will be peaceful and secure, and the outcome truly reflective of the free will of the citizens.
While commending the Inspector General of Police for his commitment towards achieving an efficient police force, the president urged him not to relent in the provision of requisite police security that will not only engender a stable security space ahead of the elections, but also guarantee the credibility of the exercise.
I call on the Inspector General of Police and indeed all law enforcement agencies that will be complementing the police in the election security process to note that the eyes of the nation and the global community will be on you all. I have no doubt of the high level of preparedness of the Nigeria police for the exercise. I trust also that in line with your service oath and statutory obligation to our beloved country, you will not disappoint us all as you put to effect your election security governance operational plans.
The president used the opportunity to confirm his approval for the release of funds for the continuation of the annual recruitment of 10,000 constables of the Nigeria Police. Police Affairs Minister Muhammad Maigari Dingyadi said more assorted anti-riot equipment acquired from China will soon be delivered and deployed by the Nigeria Police towards facilitating free, fair, and peaceful elections beginning this month.
I assure Your Excellency the resolve of the ministry under my watch to continue to support and encourage the police towards attaining the lofty democratic and internal security vision of Mr. President. Let me also assure that the ministry will continue to encourage the Inspector General of Police in his re-engineering plan for the force. We shall also encourage the police to put to proper use the acquired assets for the good of citizens and our dear nation.
I renew my assurances to Mr. President and the nation that in line with Your Excellency's charge, the Nigeria Police will be apolitical and impartial and shall deliver on our election security mandates within the context of democratic values and best practices. We have, in furtherance to this, in place adequate machineries that will in most proactive manner identify, isolate, and bring to book any political actor that plans to disrupt the political process.
The Police High Command also expressed confidence in the ability of the force to effectively police the election in the most coordinated, civil, and rule of law compliant standard ever witnessed in the country. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In a related development, the Nigeria Police Force says it is fully prepared for the conduct of the 2023 general elections. Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba gave the assurance during the inauguration of operational assets and crowd control equipment by President Muhammadu Buhari at the force headquarters in Abuja. Francis Pham reports.
These operational assets, inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari, is part of the broad strategic plans of the force towards stabilizing the security space before, during, and after the 2023 general elections, while also enhancing the capacity of the force in the management of civil disorder in line with the acceptable national legal framework and global law enforcement protocols. And this demonstration by the Quick Intervention Squad of the force is to display the level of preparedness of the force as the lead agency on election security management.
The acquisition of these items was to demonstrate the determination of the force leadership to advance Mr. President's commitment to a reformed, modernized, fully equipped, highly motivated, and citizen-focused police force. They are also procured with a view to bridging the operational gaps in the Nigeria Police, position the force for the stabilization of the national security order ahead of the 2023 general election.
IGP Usman Alkali Baba assures that the force has established a strong collaborative framework with the military, the intelligence community, and other security agencies towards the smooth conduct of the polls. Francis from NTA News.
In 2015, at the commencement of this present administration, parts of the northeast were under the control of Boko Haram, while militancy was truncating exploration and business activities in the Niger Delta region. It is about 8 years down the lane. What is the security outlook? Defense correspondent Ismail Musa highlights some major achievements in the security sector from 2015 to 2023 as the defense gives stewardship at the 24th edition of the PMB Scorecard series.
From the skies to the top of different monopole towers, down to the waterways, troops of the Air Force, Army and Navy maintain constant eagle eye on the Nigerian territory. Despite this Air Force, records show that the nation's security architecture was not encouraging before the coming of the present administration in 2015. In the Northeast, Boko Haram killed and displaced thousands of people, destroyed property worth billions of naira, and held 14 local government areas hostage, while terror attacks were extended to the Federal Capital Territory and Kano State. People were living in fear and grief. Militancy and kidnapping disrupted oil exploration and business activities in the Niger Delta region, while farmer-headers crisis overwhelmed the people of the North Central and part of the Northwest. On assumption in 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari ordered the immediate relocation of the Command and Control Center of the then Operation Lafia Dole, now Operation Hadinkai, to Maiduguri, Borno State, the epic center of the decade-long counter-insurgency operation. The renewed vigor of the armed forces, motivated by strong political will, paved way for improved funding and procurement of equipment and platforms for the armed forces, as well as local production of military hardware, enhanced welfare, training and coordination of security operations. It is about 8 years now. The outlook has changed. No local government area under terrorist occupation. More than 100,000 terrorists and their families have surrendered. Closed roads and routes reopened. reconstruction and resettlement at advanced stage, while several IDP camps shut down in the northeast.
The ministry also considerably curtailed all thefts in the Niger Delta region. The defense sector, through its maritime efforts, has also improved security in the Gulf of Guinea by drastically reducing piracy and sea robbery. These efforts led to the delisting of Nigeria on the list of piracy-prone countries by International Maritime Bureau in March 2022.
At present, land and air operations are smoking out bandits and other criminal elements hibernating in the northwest and north central, while members of the criminal-minded IPOB are being addressed through the language they understand. As the nation counts down to the 2023 general elections, the Ministry of Defense assures Nigeria that the armed forces will support INEC and other relevant agencies to conduct a secured elections. From the radio house here in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Professor Ojiga's Committee on Livestock Reform and Mitigation of Conflicts have advised present and incoming administration to show more commitment in addressing farmers' herders' crisis in the country. This is coming as the Sultan of Sokoto raised concerns over abuses of transhuman treaty and movement of arms in West Africa. This was the high point at a national conference organized by Kano State Government in Abuja. Musa Baba Aliyu will tell us more.
And access to water has always been the center of conflicts between farmers and pastoralists. The conflict that is often neglected and seen as a local issue has gradually degenerated, thereby threatening national security.
People coming from West Africa because of climate change, coming into northern part of this country with hundreds of cattle, with thousands of cattle, to the middle belt, to the southern part of this country, creating problems.
Efforts to find lasting solutions to these conflicts brought about the national conference.
How can the traditional livestock production and development sector be suitably reformed with remarkable and sustainable value addition to Nigeria's economic growth and enhanced peaceful coexistence amongst diverse Nigerian communities?
The conference reviewed the contributing factors associated with the conflict and advised the government on the way out.
The way forward, we all agree, ranching, we agree that it's very important in enhancing the progress of the sector.
We have to go back to the basics.
There is a suggestion from the Nigerian Governors Forum that traditional rulers should be engaged in mediation and conflict resolution.
Production is done.
We have been doing it. I've been to Benue Makodi at least 3 times as Sultan to sit with the governors and the traditional leaders to discuss about peace in the Benue Valley. At the end of it, when we have come with suggestions, we throw them away. Nothing is done. Back to square one. Let this conference not be in the same manner. Whatever we have agreed we should do, please, let's do it, and let's do it well.
There is also a call on the federal government to engage ECOWAS on the abuse of transhuman treaty, especially the smuggling and movement of arms by some pastoralists. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Traditional leaders in the South have expressed commitment to work with the federal government to end insecurity and pipeline vandalism in the Niger Delta. The commitment was given at a meeting between the traditional rulers and the interim administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Major General Barry Idiomo, in Warri, Delta State. Onye Joshua Ifeanyi reports.
Delta region, once a flashpoint, is now peaceful, and to sustain this momentum, made the federal government to give the area a special attention. Seated here are traditional rulers and the Presidential Amnesty Office, brainstorming on how to keep the region completely free from all forms of vices, especially crude oil bunkering. Coordinator, Presidential Amnesty Program, Major General Barry Idiomu, convened this meeting to update the royal fathers on measures taken so far to upscale the development indices of the region.
By May, when we have completely set up the cooperative and it has taken off, we are also working towards establishing an education trust fund. We intend to finance it with about ₦1 billion, and then, since the PAP is still in existence, we'll keep putting in money and see how far we can go even before the end of May. But I want to assure you that by the time the intervention funds I have applied for come in, we may end up having not less than ₦5 billion in the Education Trust Fund.
Pleased with the sincere commitment of the federal government, the traditional leaders promised to promote peace in their domains.
In the Niger Delta, this system of pull-down system is something that is not doing us good.
For the past 3 months that he have been in the office, the man has changed a lot of things.
From all comments, we have agreed that all these laudable ideas that he has shared with us, we should support him to fulfill them.
The stakeholders' engagement is an ongoing exercise in the region. Onyinye, Joshua Ifeanyi, NTA News.
A total number of 87 inmates have been released from correctional centers in Cross River State and are expected to be reintegrated with families and loved ones. Achibong Basi reports that the inmates were granted pardon by the State Chief Judge, Justice Ekon Ikpeme, during a statewide tour of custodial centers to decongest them.
Of the criteria which influenced the release of these inmates were lengths of stay in custody, especially those awaiting trial, and those who stay in the custodial centers equate or exceed the maximum term of custody the law prescribes, nature and severity of the offense, state of health, and age of an inmate. The State Chief Judge, Justice Akonipeme, says the primary essence of conviction and subsequent sentencing to a custodial facility is to correct and reform a convict. Hence, justice and equity frowns at unnecessary detention.
Some have been here for so long, they have even overstayed the period they would have spent in prison if they were to be convicted. So those become a paramount area.
Filled with gratitude, being given a second chance to live, some of the released inmates vowed never to return to their old ways of life.
I explained how to be focused in life and how to be patient also in life.
We have tailors here, we have, like me, I'm a musician, I've studied a lot here and I have like music. Nigeria, we need to help our neighbors look into their match.
Among those released is this 12-year-old who has been in custody for 2 years for stealing 2,500 naira worth of palm fruits. The State's Chief Judge was accompanied on the tour by some judges of the High Court, magistrates, and registrars in Calabar. Achibong Basi, NTA News.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arraigned 4 persons before a federal high court in Abuja for allegedly siphoning 3 billion naira from the treasury of the Kogi state government. Olabode Arewa reports that an 18-count charge was proffered against them.
The defendants, Ali Bello, Abba Adauda, Yakubu Siaka, and Yada Sadat, are facing 18-count charge of alleged criminal misappropriation of funds, totally 3.08 billion naira, in violation of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act of 2011 as amended. The Prosecution Counsel accused them of using a certain company, E-Traders International, to transfer the monies from the Kogi State Government Treasury between 2020 and 2021. The 4 defendants pleaded not guilty when the charges were read to them, while their defense counsel, Ahmed Raji SAN, filed an application for their bail. At Monday's proceedings, the prosecution counsel, Kabir Hussein, pleaded for additional time to file a counter affidavit to the bail application to which the court adjourned to Tuesday.
Is opposing our application for bail. They did not file their counter affidavit on time, and they served us only around 3:45 on Friday. Because of that, the counter affidavit cannot get into the file of His Lordship.
The 4 defendants are also facing trial in a related case concerning the alleged diversion of 10.2 billion naira from the Kogi State government coffers. A 5th defendant in the case, Abdulsalami Udu, is still at large. In Abuja, Olabodarewa, NTA News.
All right, let's join Michael in Lagos to bring us some more reports. Michael?
Thank you, Ruth. The police is awaiting the result of an autopsy conducted on the body of 12-year-old Whitney Adeniran, a student of Chrisland schools who died last Thursday during an inter-house sports competition organized by the school at Agege Stadium. Police Public Relations Officer Lagos Command Benjamin Hundeyin, who described the death as suspicious, said investigation is in progress. Hingno John Adams tells us more.
The social media is awash with the story of the death of Whitney Adeniran, while the school management in a press release said the deceased, who did not participate in any sporting activity, slumped. Her parents said she was hale and hearty that day. As a result of the perceived controversy surrounding the stories of both parties, the Ministry of Education, in a press statement signed by the Commissioner, ordered the closure of Chrisland School pending the outcome of an ongoing investigation into the cause of Whitney Adeniran's death. Some family members of the deceased gathered at the school gate alleging that despite government's directive, academic activities are ongoing.
On reaching here, I found out that parents were bringing their children to the school and activities have been ongoing since 8 o'clock that I actually got here.
They're telling us it's primary school. Where's primary school? Where's secondary school? Just inside the same compound. This is Chrisland School now.
Effort to speak with the school management was futile as journalists were not given access. The farthest we got was the gate. Police Public Relations Officer, Lagos State Command, Benjamin Hundeyin, gives an update on the case.
We have begun investigation into the matter at the State's Criminal Investigation Department. So I don't want to preempt the outcome of the investigation, and we're also going to do an autopsy, which is going to shed more light on circumstances surrounding the death.
There were police officers stationed at the gate to forestall any uprising. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
In a couple of weeks after the counting of election votes, the nation will hardly catch a breather before switching gears and counting its population. With this in mind, the National Population Commission has put in place plans and a timetable to ensure the success of the exercise. Larry Bilay takes a look at the importance of this to the nation.
There have been 6 head counts of citizens in Nigeria since the 1914 amalgamation. The last exercise was in 2006 when Nigeria was ranked the most populous black nation on earth with a population of 200 million. Another census will be carried out this year. There are mixed reactions on it already.
Knowing the normal or the actual number of a country, which helps in also planning.
Since they counted us in 2006, it didn't see any advantage on this. It's not necessary for them to count us again.
Chairman National Population Commission Nasser Kwara has confirmed that after the general election, the nation's population census will commence from the 29th of March to the 1st of April 2023.
Questions relating to humans, characteristics, surroundings, social and economic factors that humans are engaging, we ask all these questions during the census. And these data that we now collate is given to the government and is also made available to private sector. It is on this data, the demographic data and all-inclusive data, that the government can look at and have an informed decision.
This will help feasibility studies. And that is the basic foundation you need for any infrastructural development, whether it's a school, whether it's a hospital, whether it's additional housing.
The 2023 census, according to the National Population Commission, will be different due to the digital approach to be adopted. They also believe this will reduce controversy, especially with the iHand technology planned to be deployed. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages, and when we return, Nationwide continues from our Sokoto Network Center, where Asmao is standing by. Please stay.
Nationwide. The Independent National Electoral Commission Sokoto State Office says it is fully prepared for the conduct of 2023 general elections. This was stated by Resident Electoral Commissioner Sokoto Dr. Nuruddin Ali while addressing participants at a town hall meeting with women groups, gender-focused civil society organizations, and persons with disabilities. Dr. Abdullahi reports.
Addressing the participants at the town hall meeting, the resident electoral commissioner, Dr. Nuruddin Ali, said the commission is fully prepared for the conduct of 2023 general elections. He described women groups and persons with disabilities as critical stakeholders in the 2023 polls, urging them to assist in educating their children on the dangers of political thuggery. The commissioner said the commission has received all non-sensitive election materials.
We will start training the presiding officers and assistant presiding officers. We are engaging the various security operatives to ensure that our staff and the general public are well secured.
The administrative secretary of the commission, Hawa Aliyu Kangiwa, said over 50% of women were registered for 2023 elections, as against 2019 election where 50% registered in Sokoto State. She also urged women to participate actively in the political activities. The Director of Voter Education, Abani Muhammad Takai, said the Commission has received 3,990 DVAS machines, which is equal to the number of polling units in the state. Some of the participants commended the INEC for embarking on the sensitization program. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Stakeholders in Sokoto State are brainstorming on the role of women in peace and security in the country, aimed at sensitizing women and youths on security and safety in the society, organized by the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, Sokoto State Chapter. Dalhatu Abdullahi again reports.
The one-day platform on the role of women in peace and security is aimed at sensitizing members of the public on the giant stride of women in national security and peace development. Representative of National President of NAOJ, who is also the Zonal Secretary of the Association, Rabi Muhammad Gwadabawa, said the forum is also targeted at sensitizing the public on the plight of internally displaced persons, particularly women, and the impact of security on day-to-day activities. She described women as the cornerstone in character development of the children, as well as enhancing the nation's security. The Commissioner for Women and Children Affairs, Sokoto State, Kulu Abdullahi Sifawa, commended the journalists for the initiative, urging them to maintain the tempo. Guest speaker at the occasion, Abubakar of Adult Education and Extension Services, Usman Danford University, Sokoto, urged internally displaced persons to train their children on proper moral upbringing to become useful members of the society.
Those who lack peace within themselves are the ones that also extend same to others.
In his keynote address, Professor Tukur Muhammad Baba of Sociology Department, Federal University, Birnin Kabi, underscored the significance of security, urging the participants to be security conscious at all times.
The involvement of women in society, believing in themselves, empowering themselves, will bode well for peace and security in human societies.
The platform attracted participants from within and outside Sokoto State. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And a quick reminder that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and all other social media handles displayed on your screens for updates. I'll take you back to Abuja with Ruth for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Asmao. Elections, we hear, will not hold in 240 polling units in 28 states and the Federal Capital Territory. As no voter indicated interest, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu stated this at a meeting with leaders of political parties in Abuja.
No new registrants choose the polling units and no voters indicated interest to transfer to them during the last continuous voter registration exercise, mainly for security reasons. Election will not hold in these polling units, and we have made the details of these polling units available to all political parties following the recent nationwide mock accreditation using the beavers. It is clear that some voters could not easily identify their polling units. This must not happen on election day. Consequently, the Commission is advising voters to confirm the locations of their polling units through a dedicated portal linked to our website.
The INEC chairman also expresses concern over attitude of party agents and the increasing spate of electoral violence.
A situation where two or more agents claim to represent a political party, resulting in commotion at polling units or collection centers, is unacceptable. I also call on the security, intelligence, and law enforcement agencies to arrest, investigate, and prosecute anyone involved in violent conduct, including incendiary statements capable of inciting the public and causing a breach of the peace contrary to the provisions of the Electoral Act.
Today, it is an abhorrence and crudity, if not savagery, to see state governors denying campaign venues to political parties other than their own. This is crude, undemocratic, primitive, and uncivilized. Finally, I would want to admonish party leaders that having observed that the elections are conducted free, fair, and credible, the result should be accepted for the love of our country.
The APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu has promised to provide visionary leadership that would reposition Nigeria if elected president. Tinubu made the promise at different engagements with social and economic groups in Abuja. Musbahu Wahab reports.
It was a Sunday break from rallies, but full of engagements for the APC presidential candidates. A day laden with assurances and perhaps a beam of hope for the renewed Hope Crusader. And various groups are keen to get a favorable line in Tinubu Shetima blueprints. Here, an assemblage made up of largely young entrepreneurs from the northern parts of the country. And seemingly hopeful of his victory, they put forward a considerable list of areas of concern, ranging from the Kolmani oil exploration to the completion of Mambila power project, enabling environments for businesses and rapid development of the agricultural sector.
We believe that with you, Your Excellency, as the President of this nation, Nigerian farmers can smile, Nigerian farmers can get more, and you can be able to activate what this present administration has started.
At another engagement was the gathering of those who literally graduated from the tutelage of Ashiwaju. It was a meeting of mentees, stoic in their confidence in the ability of their mentor to properly manage Nigeria's top job.
And in this election, there is only one candidate whose dedication to the cause of Nigeria is not in question, whose devotion to the best aspirations of our nationhood is evident, who will lead our country to answer the call of history and defeat the most complex challenges of our time. That man is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Also worthy of note on the long evening was an endorsement of the Tinubu Shetima candidacy by the leadership of the Nigerian Fulanis under the umbrella of the Ariwa New Agenda and the Fulbe United for Peace and Development.
We will make Nigeria great. And we will make the name of Fulani a very, very respectable name.
You have heard him. Decent person, very clear and kind-hearted. Whatever he tells you, he will do it. He told you today he's going to be with you.
As we are talking now, he is producing a blueprint for the development of the herdsmen.
Tinubu then got another traditional endorsement with the title of Barikindo of Fulani tribe in Nigeria. In Abuja, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
Stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress says women participation in the electoral process is crucial for any candidate or political party to secure victory in an election. Women supporters of All Progressives Congress at an engagement in Abuja say they are taking steps towards this direction for the APC. Salihu Guanara reports.
Although this forum is specifically planned for northern women who are members of the APC, the participation cut across gender as stakeholders again shared views on how to maximize the voting strength of the women.
Asuaju and Shetima care about the development of women, and they will do more for you. We have started designing the logo of APC as a cycle. Yes. This is very dangerous for us on voting day. Please sensitize our voters. Let them look for the square with the broom.
Connect with your zonal woman leader, connect with your state woman leader, connect with the local government women leaders. APC women still remain unbeatable. No one should take your joy away from you. Own it.
In this regard, however, I want to enjoin us to not relent in our efforts and preparations in relation to the upcoming elections.
At a similar engagement, members of the Agro-Commodities Directorate of the 2023 Tinubu Shetima Presidential Campaign Council shared their views on the Naira redesign policy.
We are not against the Naira redesign policy, and if the federal government believes it is a good thing, we are with the government.
The group is hopeful that further action on the currency policy will be in the interest of the majority. In Abuja, Saliu Gonara, NTA News.
Efforts at securing votes for the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and his running mate, Ifeanyi Okowa, in the 2023 presidential election are soaring higher at the grassroots. The chairperson of the PDP Independent Grassroots Campaign Council for Atiku Okowa ticket, Fatima Mohammed Goni, stated this after embarking on sensitization across the northern states. Let's hear more from Timothy Yusuf.
House to house, word to word, and town hall meetings for Atiku and Okowa is the method of campaign adopted by the Independent Grassroots Campaign Council of the PDP. Prayers by adherents of the two major religions, Islam and Christianity, for the victory of Atiku Abubakar as the next president of Nigeria kickstart every activity of the council in villages visited. Amen. The message of the campaign council remains an appeal to voters at the grassroots to identify with the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, who will reciprocate their support through purposeful and responsible leadership that will guarantee peace, progress and stability in all spheres of life. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
A group under the umbrella of the Fulani Political Forum in Nigeria have endorsed the candidature of the late MQ Abiola's son, Latifu Kolawole Abiola, of the People's Redemption Party as its presidential candidate in the coming election. National president of the group, Dr. Ibrahim Abdullahi, confirmed Kola Abiola's endorsement in Abuja.
It was an exciting moment for some of the Fulani youths in Nigeria to meet Kola Abiola, son to late MKO Abiola. The national president of the group, Dr. Ibrahim Abdullahi, pointed out challenges facing Nigerians. However, if given the mandate, Kola Abiola can turn around the fortunes of the country.
Our voting pattern is going to be what we call block voting system. We are going to gather all our strengths around one candidate.
The PRP vice presidential candidate, Harose Ego, called on them and Nigerian youths by extension to shun divisive politics, but rather elect leaders with political will to salvage Nigeria.
Our problem is each other. Our problem is not Muslim, is not Christian, is not Fulani, is not Fulani headsmen, it is us.
With appreciation, Kola Abiola appealed to Nigerians to collectively support his aspiration to become the next president of Nigeria.
There is no separation of candidate and party in PRP. The ideology has been that of the people, and the party itself represents that people.
7.5 million registered voters declared their support to Kola Abiola. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Atala, NTA News.
The Action Democratic Party presidential candidate Yabagi Yusuf Sani has promised to rebuild Abia State as one of Nigeria's industrialized states if elected president in the coming elections. The presidential candidate of the Action Democratic Party, his running mate and members of the campaign council, while in Abia State, assured the people of the wealth of experience that will come to play in the oil and financial sectors if they vote ADP.
Among the presidential candidates, he is the most educated and is the one that knows the problem of Nigeria.
Our presidential candidate, Engineer Wama Isani, and the vice presidential candidate, Dr. Kudo, and our government candidate will do you well.
Yabagi Yusuf said he will provide a government where the 3 tiers of government will be independent and everyone treated equally, not minding backgrounds and religion.
And we are going to build this country economically by way of building the manufacturing sector, which is always called the real sector of the economy, and Aba is one of them.
He believes the Action Democratic Party is a credible alternative that is on a rescue mission. Ibadan is our next stop as we join Kemi.
Hello, Ruth, and welcome to Ibadan. A 2-day training for supervisory presiding officers that will be engaged by INEC during the forthcoming general elections in Osun State has ended in Osogbo, the state capital. Correspondent Bolaji Akim reports that close to 400 supervisory presiding officers were trained.
So you must check and make sure that it's complete to avoid these possible causes of dispute.
The training is geared towards equipping the supervising presiding officers on the do's and don'ts of INEC and also what is expected from them at their assigned various polling units. Addressing the supervising presiding officers, Resident Electoral Commissioner in Osun State, Mutiu Agboke, reminded them of the responsibilities on their shoulders and the need not to let the nation down.
With their intervention, we talk of reverse logistics, we talk of the arrangement and deployment of our staff to various polling units on election day. So we hold them responsible for all these activities. So that is why they must know what we are saying, they must know the regulation, they must know how to apply it, and they must know how to do it.
Agboke emphasized on the need for all stakeholders in the coming general elections to play the game according to the rules as the Commission is ready to conduct free, fair, and credible elections. The REC also directed that copy of INEC Code of Conduct should be made available to all the supervising presiding officers. In Osogbo, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
And the Kwara State government has commenced free transportation for students and staff of some tertiary institutions in Ilorin, the state capital. This is part of the state government's palliative measures to cushion the effect of fuel scarcity and challenges of currency change in the country. Raliat Ibrahim has the report.
Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak last week announced some palliative measures to cushion the effects of the stress faced by residents of the state due to the fuel situation and cash scarcity. These include cash transfer with pensioners, transporters, marketmen and women, as well as free transport for students in tertiary institutions in the state capital. The learning points for the free transportation program are Solidaro Park Post Office area for Kwara Polytechnic routes and Tanke Unilorin Road for the University of Ilorin. At the 2 points where the buses are loading, there are long orderly queues of students who are happy about the development.
It's really a good thing because we know the struggle we pass through in going to school every day and coming back home.
It's really gladdens our hearts, as students, and it's also helped us save costs, and now we can use the money to do other things.
These days, there's no money, there's no cash.
Seeing buses coming in and out like this is actually very, very helpful.
The state government says the program became necessary in view of the current situation.
The has been that they don't have money, they cannot cash to get vehicles, and the vehicles are charging exorbitantly. The government, in its own duty, felt they need to also give an extending hand to the communities.
The free transportation program is expected to continue till the situation is better. Raliat Ibrahim, News.
And that's it from Ibadan. Nationwide continues after this time out. Do stay with us. Welcome back. To sustain the current insufficiency in the supply and distribution of petroleum products nationwide, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has evacuated a total of 502 million litres of petrol to filling stations across the country. This was disclosed in the company's weekly petrol evacuation and dispatch report for the week of 4th to 10th February 2023 in Abuja. In the report, the NNPC Limited indicates that, on the average, 72 million litres of petrol is evacuated daily for the week on their review. The report further stated that 87% of all the evacuation took place at the country's top 30 loading depots, while other loading depots evacuated the remaining 13% of the total volume. Similarly, Lagos and the FCT maintained their positions as states with the largest number of trucks dispatched, recording 2,267 and 707 trucks respectively. The company again reiterated its commitment towards sustaining its collaboration with all downstream stakeholders to ensure all filling stations in the country are fully stocked with petroleum products. The National Orientation Agency and partners have taken the Fall in Love with Nigeria campaign to Government Junior Secondary School, Guza, in the FCT. Kenneth Inanim reports that the exercise is part of events lined up by the agency to mark the 2023 Valentine's Day.
The Fall in Love with Nigeria campaign is an annual event championed by the National Orientation Agency. It is geared towards reawakening the consciousness of young Nigerians on patriotism and love for the fatherland. This year, the agency, in partnership with some social media platform providers, are in school to propagate the behavioral change campaign.
The promotion of peace and the security is a task for every individual, whether young or old.
Omar Isa is a junior secondary school student in the FCT who is already aware of the dangers associated with social media platforms, especially with the trend of the spread of fake news and hate speeches. But this advocacy has helped open his mind to other safer platforms through which he and other students could utilize to contribute to nation building.
I know that TikTok has make people corrupt. They should use the TikTok to learn good behavior and good characters.
Nigerian students and my fellow friends out there love Nigeria because it's a beautiful country, it's a beautiful nation, and it's our fatherland.
The event is preparatory to Valentine's Day, celebrated on 14 February. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
All right, that's nationwide. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy your evening. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.